Welcome back to another episode of the Cage Walk Podcast with Kayla, presented by OddSmokerMMA. Today, I have Tyler, the Typhoon Forsythe, here with me, who's got an upcoming fight on June 13th with LFA, Louisville, Kentucky. Tyler, how are you doing?
I'm doing great this morning. Just finna get ready to go to church and get some good prayer in. Yeah, ask the Lord for some good health the last 2 weeks of camp as we head into this big fight I got coming up.
And it's going to be your biggest fight to date. Before we jump into that, let's do a little background on how you got into MMA.
All right, so I don't really have like a really special story of how I got into MMA. I had a peer of mine, a really good friend, Frank the Jackal Rayford, local middleweight and light heavyweight here in the Memphis area. I seen him start to make a splash on the local scene, reached out to him. He got me, in touch with the group at the Brawlers Den, Jeff Denton and Ricky Pike. I had originally got into MMA just as more for like discipline and self-esteem. Where I was at in my life at that point in time, I really felt like I needed something I could focus on to keep myself out of trouble, keep myself from making the wrong choices. So about 8 months into training, I took my first MMA fight and it's been balls to the wall ever since.
Yeah, I've seen you fight. Um, and I think you're an amazing fighter. I'm so proud of you, how far you've come.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
and like what I just said, like we were just talking about, this is your biggest fight. You're fighting Eric Calvert, who is no chump. Eric is a savage as well. I know you've seen him fight locally. And uh, so how's camp been going prepping for him?
Yeah, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Eric. I know he's a very dangerous fighter, very tough fighter. But when the cage doors close, he's gonna have to earn every bit of my respect in there. I'm not taking him lightly, but I'm not gonna treat him like he's Superman. I'm going in there to stake my claim in the flyweight division. Preparation for Eric has been going great. I put in the longest camp of my life, the hardest camp of my life, 12-week camp. I was able to put 4 weeks in with Fisher and everybody at DeSoto Apex before they closed at the end of March. Beginning of April, I switched camps and joined law school MMA. I've been there now for the past 8 weeks. So it's been a bit of a learning curve, a bit of an adjustment this camp, but I'm really proud of the improvements I've made. Brian Hall's been exploiting a lot of my holes in my defense, so I've been able to work a lot on my defense, build a lot of confidence with those guys, as well as adding tools to the arsenal. Things that Brian, because he'd seen me fight on the local scene a lot, and when I switched over there, he really impressed me with just the care he's given me and all those guys over there, really. So, like I said, I mean, he's been adding tools to the arsenal, plugging holes in my defense. I'm really confident heading into this fight. But like we all know, Eric's no slouch. I have to be prepared, and I've been making sure I check all the boxes.
Yeah, most definitely. How with changing gyms before a fight that you've already been prepping for? I mean, that had to have been hard because every coach is different. Now I know law school is one of the best gyms around here, so you are at an amazing gym. How has that transition been?
It was definitely a bit of a, I could say, bummer. Having to change gyms, but it was ultimately out of my control. There's nothing I could do about that. The only thing I can control is my performance and my preparation leading into a fight. But those guys stuck it up out there till the end of March, so I decided to stick it up out there till the end of March. And I'm glad, I'm proud of the relationships I built there, the work I put in while I was there, and just switching camps to law school. It's been a big confidence boost. It is one of the better gyms in the area, one of the bigger gyms in the area. I believe the 125 room that they have, that roster.
Mhm.
125ers and 135ers at law school is, it's really just second to none as far as the amount of work that they put in, the ethic, full of like-minded people wanting to improve as mixed martial artists. So when it came time to change, it was really a no-brainer for me to commit to going to law school.
Yeah, absolutely. And where you're going with your career too, getting to a gym like law school, they do have a UFC fighter, they had a Bellator fighter. So you're in a place now where, and nothing against DeSoto, absolutely not, but with them closing is what I mean. You could have gone everywhere. However, law school, I mean, it was a great choice. Definitely have some great guys in there that will push you, you know, um, and just be there for you and train you the way you need to be trained.
Yes, when it came to the decision-making process, like I said, it was really came down to two things. The I wanted to be pushed outside of my comfort zone, and I wanted to have the bodies to train with. The only other really gym in that area that I was even considering was Memphis Judo, and just the commute to Memphis Judo would have been a lot for me. And
Yeah.
their I'm not saying like their room isn't deep because they got a lot of people too. But as far as like pro flyweights, they only have, I believe, Dakota Smith, which is one. And I mean, he's got a win over me. He's a very formidable opponent. I'm not saying he wouldn't have given me some good work and been a good training partner or anything, but just when it came time to make the decision, it was a no brainer. Just all the bodies and experience they have over there. It's
Mhm.
like it's been helping me out, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that I was even able to join law school. Like with them having such a deep room full of
Mhm.
125ers. Like, what do they need me for? I could had just been another name on all their resumes. They could have gave me the cold shoulder, but they didn't. They've been very welcoming, and I look forward to putting in more camps with them and growing as a martial artist because uh, the room for error as we progress gets smaller and smaller, and everybody over there is like minded. So everybody's growing.
Yeah, and those are all valid reasons to go to that gym. And I wish nothing but the wish you nothing but the best at law school. Again, I think they're great. With camp, besides having to change camps during camp, has there been any big challenges you've had to overcome?
It's honestly, it's been one of my better camps as far as health is going. Injuries, I haven't, knock on wood, I haven't had any hiccups. I haven't had any like weird dislocations or anything like that. It has been a bit of a problem for me in the past, so I'm really proud of the work I've been putting in. There's not really nothing that's been thrown my way that I haven't expected, but that's you know due to due planning. When my fight fell through in September of last year, I knew the beginning of this year was going to be a lot of personal growth for me. I had to secure a lot of things for me and my family and make home life comfortable before I could commit to another camp. So outside of injuries, that's really the only things that fighters are going to get thrown at them is personal things that come up with life, family, work, So I made sure I had everything at home settled before I committed to a camp, especially, and I had to, especially with the opponent that I have in front of me.
Yeah, most definitely. And if you're family first, always. And I know your last fight, you're supposed to fight September 24th or September 27th for CFFC. Unfortunately, that had fell through. So you hadn't fought in a while, been in camp or whatever. So, you took a little bit of time off. Um, Unfortunately, not your plans because, your fight fell through. But I think, and I'm sure you could agree, I mean, it's giving you time to get things right, get ready, and really, and here you have a great opponent coming up too. It's giving you
Yeah,
time to
I
go
never
and
really took any downtime from the gym aside from when I had whenever we were first getting moved into the home, obviously moving things and stuff like that. But I've been able to train consistently, even though that fight fell through. So, you know, it I could say it's been the longest camp of my life, but whenever I found out about the Eric fight a while back, like I said, in March, so I've been training consistently ever since September, but I really ramped it up in March and put in a full camp. So
I've been waiting for the name. I love it. I think it's going to be a great fight. Can't wait to watch it. Um, I've got some fun questions now. We got, got all the camp stuff and whatnot. So after, because you've been doing this for a while, after weight cuts, and everyone hates weight cut, it's just a miserable time. But when you're finally able to eat a good meal, is there something in particularly that you always go and eat?
usually, well, when it comes to refueling after the fight, it's a lot of carbohydrates for me. Um, a little bit of protein maybe, but really try to stick to carbs because they convert the glucose better to give you energy for the fight. I try not to really overload myself. It's really just slow, steady eating and drinking, making sure everything's going in and coming out okay before the fight. That's a really crucial part. But after the fight, I would love to give me some cheese pizza out there and maybe like a root beer float. I don't know why, but that's just what I've been craving as far as like my reward, my sweet treat for after the camp and after the performance I put in.
And it's always well deserved too. Eat what you want after that fight because you do it. And for fighters, I mean, you do so much to your body, to make that weight, especially if you have to cut hard, um, and have a more intense weight cut that after a fight, man. And that's why I always like to ask that question because I mean, every single fighter who goes through a weight cut deserves it. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
um, and I have respect for fighters because I could never do it. I couldn't. I'll stick to just watching and supporting. Um, what? Who? Okay, so hypothetically, and this can be a fighter any weight class, in any promotion, um, and like promotion like Bellator, PFL, whatever, UFC. If you could fight one fighter in the world, who would you want to fight and why?
Like all time,
Yeah.
yeah, across the board.
Hmm.
That's a tough one. Uh, I'd like to would really like. So if I was in the UFC, I already staked my claim. I'd like to fight Brandon Moreno or a Brandon Roy Ball. I really like both of those guys in the flyweight division. They some real dogs. The flyweight division is stacked. You got to have some heart and tenacity to be a flyweight. It's everybody's tit for tat here.
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as like just dream competition in general, I think it would also be great to get some roles in with the Diaz brothers. That would be really cool.
Yes, I've had a couple of those. The Diaz brothers for sure.
I'm not
Uh,
trying to fight those. I don't want to get slapped in the middle of a fist fight. It's a bit much.
well, that's why I said hypothetically. Just it's just if you could fight anybody, like who. I think it's
Yeah,
something to think about. Like just something fun. Where do you? This is more of a serious question. Um, Obviously you've been a pro for a while. You're fighting with LFA. Um, where do you see yourself going in the career, in your MMA career? Like, what is your end goal?
my end goal is to be the best flyweight to ever do it. I believe with the win here against Eric Calvert will set me up for a really big fall this year. Hopefully get two more in is what I would like, but at least one more in before the end of the year. It would be my least active year as a pro fighter yet, as a fighter in general. I believe a big win here, a big opportunity, and another win later in the year could set me up for um, a way to stake my claim for a Dana White Contender Series shot early next year with the fight. So I believe 3 victories would line me up for a Contender Series shot next next summer. That's what I'm seeing in my tunnel vision right now. That's my goals and aspirations for this next coming year of competition. And obviously, if I could get that shot, that would be a life changing opportunity. And just to be able to be in the UFC, I believe would bring a lot of sense of accomplishment to me and all the sacrifices I've made in the sport. I believe that I'll be in the UFC, and I believe one day I'll be a fan favorite and a legend in the sport. That'd be my end goal.
Absolutely, and I can see it. And the reason I brought it because he said, there are so many flyweights in the UFC that you have to go out and show out. You know, and you said it yourself, like you've got to be a dog, like because there are so many. I would love to see you in the UFC. I truly think you're a phenomenal fighter. It's always a pleasure to work with you on stuff. Um, and I wish you nothing but the best in your journey. Obviously, I will continue following it. Really looking forward to your fight again on June 13th. Before we jump off, 'cause I know you have to get ready for church and stuff. Anybody you want to shout out or say thanks to?
Yeah, so obviously, thank you for the opportunity of being able to come on here and talk about camp, talk about the preparations, and just be able to connect with fans a little bit more. And I appreciate you always following me and making my designs and sponsoring me for this camp. So big shout out to OddSmoker MMA. But I have some other sponsors I'd like to name as well. I have bad, so I had to get my list out. I don't want to miss anybody, forget anybody. But Grits Creations, she does all my banner work. She does my shorts. She puts the designs you guys make on my shorts for me. The Bearded Apostles, they sponsored me for my last camp. They're a real big part of my last camp, and they continued to come on board at this camp. Saving Grace Cleaning Services, which is actually my mother. She owns a cleaning service here in the Mid South area. And I'd like to give a big shout out to a lot of her customers. She brags about her boy at work, and a lot of people chipped in, 25, $50 here, and she was able to collect a good amount of money for me to put towards my nutrition this camp. So big shout out to her and all those customers. Carpenter Hammer and Paint, they're one of my longest sponsors. They've been with me ever since my second amateur fight. One Way Lawn Care, they've also been with me since my second amateur fight. Lyle's Plumbing and Excavation, that's a real old friend of mine. I've known him since we were toddlers. He's probably been one of my biggest supporters. There hasn't been a time where he hasn't already given me sponsor money and something come up and I need something else and him, uh, be able to just support me and help me out. So big shout out to all Team Typhoon and those sponsors there. All of my previous sponsors, like even though, uh, things might not work out, we might not be able to contribute to every fight camp. A real big shout out to everybody that's been a part of pushing me and getting me to this part of my career. Shout out to all my former coaches, the guys at Brawlers Den, AGB, DeSoto Apex, and big shout out to my team now at law school.
I love all the support that you have right there. That I think that's the biggest list I've seen. I love it. I love seeing these fighters who, started off in the regional scene who are just getting better and better. And your continued support from these people. Um, it's amazing. I love it. I've enjoyed working with you on the design, sponsoring you for this camp. I can't wait to do more. Um, with you. Again, guys, tune in on June 13th for LFA to watch Tyler take on Eric Calvert. This is going to be an amazing fight. Two great fighters going against each other. You don't want to miss it. If you can get tickets, it's in Louisville, Kentucky. Totally would be worth the drive for these fighters, most definitely. Um, And as always, y'all, you can find me, OddSmoker MMA, on every single platform: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. Come and if you're in need of graphic design or anything, free feel to reach out. Um, Tyler, where can new viewers, followers find you on socials?
Um, so I'm just more of a traditional social media guy. I got the ones I made when I was a teenager. I don't do Twitter, TikTok, none of that stuff. So you can find me on Facebook at Tyler K Forsythe. That's my personal Facebook. I have athlete page on Facebook as well, Tyler the Typhoon Forsythe, and then my Instagram is at bullethead_23. I try to keep everything posted, same post on all the platforms across the board, just to keep everything updated. And maybe if we can get some growth there, I'll reach out to other platforms. But for now, I just content in my small social media family and follow. So that's where you can find me if you'd like to join. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, definitely give Tyler a follow, y'all. Follow him in his journey. You know, as he said a little bit ago, his goal is to be on Contender Series next summer. Let's give him support, keep following him, and try to help get him there the best we can. Tyler, it was a pleasure speaking with you. If you need anything between now and your fight here coming up, let me know.
Thank you for having me and giving me this platform. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.